Previously on agentpalmer.com, Barker's brand of horror celebrates the inhuman condition. Quiet literary giant gets attention he deserves in Radical Wolfe. And if I'm honest, the conversation in the last episode with Miguel was quite the catharsis for me. This is the Palmer Files, episode 115, with Stefanie Muniz, formerly of the Gotham Lights podcast and the Orville Lights podcast, and the woman who has my heart and lives with me. Yes, she lives with me. She did that on her own. She's about to answer 50 questions. Are you ready? Let's do the show. Hello and welcome to the Palmer Files. I'm your host, Jason Thurshik, also known as Agent Palmer, and on this 115th episode is Stefanie Muniz. She is my partner, the love of my life, and the person who probably supported me in this podcast endeavor more than any other. She was always going to eventually be on the show, as she has podcasting in her past, because that's how we met. But last year, she did a birthday stream on her Twitch channel, and I offered this 50 questions as a way to fill some time during the many hours of that stream. These 50 questions are not strange to me. I first answered them as a blog post, then I used them as filler episodes on 7 Days a Geek, asking them to each of the co-hosts, the Angry Ginger and Grant the Kilted One, during separate episodes. I then did the same thing, asking Bill of the Wicked Theory podcast and of the first guest of this show, way back 115 episodes ago, the same 50 questions for an episode of his show. Steph now answers those 50 questions. That's Steph with an F for those of you keeping track at home for some reason. Anyway, before we get to the questions themselves, remember that if you want to discuss this episode as you listen or afterwards, you can find all contact information for Steph and myself in the show notes. There you can see some of Steph's writing on FromBrainToKeyboard.com, which also has links to some of her older podcast appearances and co-hosting spots. Don't forget you can see all of my writings and rantings on AgentPalmer.com, and of course, email can be sent to thepalmerfiles@gmail.com. Also, if for some reason you want to follow along with my answers, you can go to agentpalmer.com/50Q. That's the numbers 5 and 0 and the letter Q. That will also let you know what I'm going to ask her next. So without further ado, on with the questions. All right. 50 questions.
Yes.
You've heard these episodes before.
I have.
But I'm counting on you not remembering all of them.
I don't remember any of it.
Okay. Now, for you, so you're aware, 50 questions alternating every 5. So the first 5 are this or that, just answer quickly. Rapid fire. And then the next 5 will be open-ended. And then we'll go back to 5 that rapid fire, and basically there's 5 sets of 10. And we'll get through all 50, and that'll be that.
Okay.
My answers are already online somewhere on my blog, and I might ask a follow-up to some of the open-ended ones, or maybe the rapid fire. I'm unpredictable. Who knows?
Unpredictable.
All right, let's go.
Ready.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Read on a Kindle or a book?
Book.
Go to a play or a musical?
Ooh, play.
Hike or bike?
Did you say hike?
Yes, I said hike or bike.
Hike.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek.
All right, you've finished the first 5 rapid fire. So these are open-ended now. Where is your favorite place to eat?
That's a tough one because there's a lot of favorite places.
One favorite place to eat.
Well, then we'll go with the Hotel Bethlehem because we were just there for my birthday dinner and I like to eat there.
The food, the atmosphere.
Both. I really like the food and I really like the atmosphere, especially if we're eating in what they call the tap room. It's just a nice little eating area. There's a bar. They usually have it nicely decorated, especially around like the holidays. They have a lot of pretty decorations. And then you can also look out on the like main street.
Yeah, historic downtown Bethlehem.
Yeah, and it's very pretty.
All right. What childhood activity do you wish you could still do now?
Which childhood activity do I wish I could still do now?
Yes.
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't seem like that hard of a question.
I mean, it kind of is.
There are no skips. You have to answer.
I mean, I wasn't planning on skipping, but I really don't know. Because I could say crocheting, because I used my grandmother, my German grandmother, so my Oma taught me how to crochet when I was a kid, and so I didn't do it very well, but I did it, and I have been meaning to get back into it. So I've tried and started and stopped and started and stopped. So I guess that I'm sure there's other things, but I can't think of anything else. I mean, I guess writing is another one. Like I did a lot of
Writing's not a
writing when I was
childhood
kid.
activity.
Well, that's why. Like I wrote a lot as a kid and I liked it, and I've been trying to get back into it, but it's not like really a childhood
It's not.
activity.
Yeah.
But neither is crocheting. Like a lot of people crochet. It's not exactly like a child's thing. Gosh, childhood thing.
I can give you a hint and say that if you did it before 5th grade, it's probably a childhood activity.
Before 5th grade.
I didn't realize this would be the tough question.
I didn't think so. I didn't realize either. This is the stumper, huh?
Boy, this might be a very long thing. Come on. Favorite childhood activity
Favorite
that
childhood
you wish you could
activity?
still do now. So you can write now. You can. I mean,
yeah.
So
I know I can,
and
so,
you can crochet now. So what's an activity that you did as a child that you wish you could still do now?
I'm really drawing a blank. Like I can only think of things that also adults can do, like roller skating or riding a scooter.
Well, pick one. Something. Thank God this isn't a rapid fire thing. We'd be.
I'm better at the rapid fire questions. I don't know about these long form questions.
Well, come on.
Is that enough?
No, you didn't pick one.
It's roller skating.
Okay, roller skating. All right, fair enough. What TV show character are you most like?
Oh, geez. Can we go back to the childhood thing?
No, we moved on. You picked roller skating. Now, what TV show character are you most like?
I don't know. I haven't watched a TV show in a long time.
You've watched a lot of TV shows. Pick a character that you are most like. It's you.
Oh.
This isn't like asking your friends who you're most like affiliated with. This is you.
Yeah, but I feel like friends would have an easier time of figuring out who I'm most like.
You don't know who you are. That's what you're saying. That's your final answers. I don't know who I am.
No, I have a hard time comparing myself to other characters.
Well, here's a hint. You're not a character.
Yeah.
So what character are you most like?
Well, now I have to think back to what TV shows that we've watched where I related to a character. And there's not a lot of them. Like, there's not a character that I'm like in Kenobi, so that doesn't work.
All right. Like, in full disclosure, we've watched a lot of Trek together. We've watched a bunch of Gilmore Girls and West Wing and all of the Sorkin stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then
there's not one character in all of that.
Okay. Well, if we go with the Trek, because that's the most recent thing that we've watched, and I remember actually telling you who I most related to in that show. So in Star Trek: The Original Series, I am Spock.
Okay.
I relate to Spock. Spock, me and Spock. We're good.
That your final answer?
Yeah, because I can't think of any other shows right now that I am that the characters I'm like, but I've always been very like, I don't want to say, not emotional, but much like Spock, emotions are usually in check and very logical. So I've always related to Spock quite a bit.
All right. Would you rather be a jack of many trades or a master of one?
I think probably, many. Many trades, because that's kind of what I want to do now. Like, I want to learn to play an instrument, and I want to learn to speak another language. And so I feel like...
Look, I've done this a few times before. I've been around the block with these 50 questions, and this question feels like it has a correct answer. Like, unlike all the other things, this one feels like it has a correct answer. And master of one is the wrong answer every time.
Yay!
All right, so I'm going to rely on your memory again.
Okay.
What's the funniest movie moment you've ever seen?
Funniest movie moment. Gosh, there was something that we recently watched that I found quite funny, and it was a movie.
Yeah, but is it the funniest?
I mean, I laughed quite a bit.
Like, there aren't,
Gosh.
like, movie scenes that live rent-free in your head because they're funny that you've seen, like, from 20 years ago?
No. There probably were at some point in time, but then work and stress has bumped everything out of my brain. Oh gosh.
What's your favorite comedy? Let's see if we can piece this together.
Favorite comedy. There's some Mel Brooks movies that are up there.
Okay. So, what's your favorite Mel Brooks scene? Funny scene?
I think I'm gonna go with Robin Hood Men in Tights, and there's a lot of them in that movie that I really like, that I remember back from childhood and loved them so much that I would repeat them all the time.
And the funniest one for you was?
Oh God. I can't decide between
Just pick one.
We'll just go with the scene where oh God, I'm blanking on the scene.
Then it must not be your favorite.
Well, I don't like being on the spot. We'll just go with when Robin comes back from the Crusades, and his servant Blinken is telling him all about how his father died, and then his mother, and then his dog and his cat, and he's just listing everything out, and he's like, "Oh, it's so great to be home, isn't it?" We'll just go with that one. It's not. I don't think that's the funniest one, but I can't decide right now.
All right. Well, that mercifully brings us to the next round of rapid fire questions.
Thank goodness.
Play, keyword, play, dodgeball or kickball?
Kickball.
Swim in a pool or the ocean?
Pool.
Would you rather act or direct?
Direct.
Win the lottery or find your perfect job?
Probably find my perfect job.
Watch sports or play sports?
Watch sports.
All right. Now we're back to the, make you sweat a little bit, apparently.
Some of those are hard. I don't like them.
Who, very important, who would you want with you if you were stranded on a desert island?
Oh, that's easy. You.
Yay, we're stranded together.
Yay.
No one else?
Oh, like it could be more than one person?
It's literally just who would you? I didn't say a single person.
Yeah, but I don't know. When you start adding a bunch of people, it's like, how did they all get to this island?
Actually, no, that's not what it is. It's how do they get along? If I'm your first choice, be careful with your second one. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and that's why I'm thinking, like,
just the two of us.
It would either be, the two of us and then probably a pet. Like, Right now, it'd be Max.
Okay.
If at the time that we get stranded on an island, we have a different pet with us, it's a different pet.
Okay. All right. What junk food couldn't you live without?
Now, question.
How?
Does chocolate count as a junk food, or is that more of a candy?
Either. It's the same.
Well, because I would
all
consider
candy's
chocolate
junk food.
Yeah, but it's
No, all
I don't know, I feel
candy's
like
junk
chocolate
food.
is its own thing.
I mean, if you say chocolate, I'm going to ask you to be more specific.
Well, because my other answer, as far as like what I consider junk food that I can't live without, would be chips, because I like chips and I like variety
again,
of
I
chips.
would ask you to be more specific.
What chip would I not be able to live without?
Or what chocolate?
Or what chocolate? Chocolate. It would be Kinder Schokolade.
Okay.
The German milk chocolate, because I love it and would be very sad if I wouldn't have it anymore.
Chip.
And it comes in different forms. So like it comes in the little bars, it comes in the little eggs, all the variety of Kinder chocolates. Chips. If I had to narrow it down to just one,
Yep.
I'd probably go with barbecue.
Barbecue or Kinder?
Yeah.
Which one? One.
Oh, like now
what's the
pick
one?
between those two?
We've narrowed it down for you. Which one couldn't you live without?
The Kinder chocolate.
Okay. What is your least favorite food?
My least favorite food. Probably steak, because I'm not a big like meat eater, and especially like not thick steaks. Like I'll eat. Like yesterday, I had short rib. That was delicious. I'll have burgers every once in a while, but I think just like steak. Because I remember as a kid, we would eat a lot of steaks because my dad liked steaks, but I wasn't a big fan of steaks as a kid, and it was always like, eat your steak. I don't want to. The steak. Because otherwise, I tend to like a lot of different foods. So,
which real planet would you visit?
Which real planet would I visit?
And this is also presuming that we don't have to give you like the real time it takes 500 years to get there. But which real planet would you visit?
Probably Saturn. Because I've always thought Saturn was really pretty with all the rings, and it would be cool to see those up close, all the little particles and pieces of space stuff that make up all of the rings.
All right. What childhood movie do you still love today?
I'll go with Jim Henson's Muppet Christmas Carol.
Like, even if it's not the holidays? Because it is just childhood movie.
Yeah.
And you picked a holiday movie.
Because I've seen it most recently as a childhood movie. Like, there's other movies that are not really child movies. Like, obviously, okay. Well, then, we'll go with another Jim Henson one. We'll go with Labyrinth.
Okay. Well,
because that one's, it's like it's been an absolute favorite movie of mine since childhood.
Well, congratulations. You've made it to the next rapid fire round.
That long answer round was a lot easier than like the last one.
Sure. Excuses. All right. R2D2 or BB-8?
R2D2.
Watch TV or read a book?
As much as I love to read, I'll probably say watch TV because it's easier to do.
Laptop or tablet?
Laptop.
Camp in an RV or stay in a tent?
I'm gonna say tent only because I've only ever done tents. I've not done an RV. Like, I've been in an RV, but not while camping.
And then this last one, as an excuse for needing to change these 50 questions soon, but is still a relevant question, but for very different reasons. Use Facebook or Twitter?
Well, of the two, it would be Twitter, although who knows how much longer Twitter will be around.
Okay. All right. Now, I guess gird yourself. Let's go to more open-ended questions.
Okay.
If you could do anything you wanted right now, what would it be?
Travel around Europe.
Okay. Just right now. Like,
Yeah,
snap your
yeah.
fingers, all of a sudden, you're traveling Europe.
Yes. Like if I didn't have to worry about work, I didn't have to worry about, being here to take care of a sick cat. Didn't have to worry about money to get me to Europe and things like that. Yeah, I would love to just travel around Europe.
Any
'Cause there's
particular
so many
piece of
European-
Europe? Just Europe?
No, like as much of it as I could go to, because I've been to
You want to be a
the
risk
UK.
piece, basically. That's what you want. You want to be a risk piece that somebody moves around Europe as they conquest it.
Man, I don't want to conquer Europe. I just want to visit it.
Yes, but in order to conquer it on risk, you need to move around all of it.
Yeah, but I just want to visit it.
All right. What animal do you most want to have as a pet?
Not including the one I have right now.
What animal do you most want to have as a pet?
I could say a dog because I know it's not gonna happen because you're not a big dog person. But if what are we talking like more exotic?
The question is, what animal do you most want to have as a pet?
There was one that I was thinking of the other day. Hold on. No, it wasn't a goat. Oh God, what was it? There was a cute little animal that I saw, and I can't remember what it is now.
So just dog
It's
or
really
cat?
fuzzy. It's really fuzzy. Hold on. I'm trying to see if it'll come back to me. Really fuzzy furry animal. Darn it. It's not. Yeah, it's not coming back to me.
All right. So your answer is dog.
Yeah, dog or cat.
Okay. Where
Stick with the basics.
where do you most want to travel but have never been?
See, 2 questions ago.
All right, but if you said
No.
Europe, I would press you for a specific,
Yeah,
at least city.
No. But I'm actually gonna go because I said Europe in the last question. I'll actually go with a completely different thing because where I also would really love to go, and because I just saw it on TV not too long ago, is I would love to go to Tokyo. That's like a would be a big dream goal to be able to go to Tokyo.
Any particular reason?
I've just always liked Japan, and especially Tokyo. Like since I was younger, I've always liked anime and manga and Japanese food and all the cool things like, Nintendo and all of the stuff that they have there in Japan, and the culture, and it just seems like a really cool place. And so anytime I see somebody who goes to Japan, I'm like, oh, I want to go and experience those cool things. So yeah, but it's also one of those things that would be very extremely hard to do, because I would want to go with someone that would at least know enough Japanese to be able to get around, because I don't want to just go as like just me as a tourist who doesn't speak any Japanese, because that would be interesting. Or yeah, it would be a little bit crazy.
Who is your favorite author? See, and you were doing so well. You had an answer for Tokyo, and just who
It's
is
only
your
because I've got so many favorite authors. But I guess if I'd have to like just narrow it down.
Yes.
Jane Austen. Jane Austen.
Okay. Why?
Because I love her novels and always loved her novels. And it's because I can't have more than one, because otherwise it'd be Jane Austen, Agatha Christie. There'd be so many.
That's 2, by the way.
Well,
so many is 2. By the way, my answer
Shakespeare's in there.
My answer has 4. Well, and 2 also rans.
Yeah. I mean, if, given more time and thought, I could definitely come up with more. But Jane Austen, I love the time era that she wrote in. I liked her style of writing. I liked what she said was trying to say in her writing, and the fact that a woman of her time could do that is, I always thought that was really cool.
I don't usually do this, but can you guess my 4 or the 4 I named?
Is Douglas Copeland in there?
That's one of them, yeah.
Okay. Len Dayton?
That's one of them, yeah.
Clive Barker?
That's a third. There's only one more. I'll give you a hint. My collection's as big as it is for the other 3.
Is it... I'm going to go Tolkien.
No.
Darn it, because I was thinking Tolkien, but then I was like, nah.
It's really obvious.
Who wrote the Shannara Chronicles?
It's not Terry Brooks.
Not Terry Brooks. It's a big collection. Klosterman.
There you go.
Chuck Klosterman.
Yeah. Okay, well, now that I got you thinking about books and authors, what's your favorite book?
Aw, come on. Okay, I guess since my favorite author, I went with Jane Austen, I will go with one of her books as my favorite book. And I will go with Pride and Prejudice, because I love every form of that thing. I could reread that novel over and over again. I mean, I love her other books as well, but Pride and Prejudice it's been my favorite since I discovered Jane Austen. And I love all the movies and the shows and all the spin-offs, like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I'm there for all of it.
What was your first Jane Austen book?
Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations. You've gotten to another rapid fire round.
Okay. Where are we in the whole scheme of things? Like, are we halfway? Are we?
I'm pretty sure we're over halfway.
Oh, okay.
Armageddon or Deep Impact?
Armageddon.
Own a houseboat or a speedboat?
I'm going to say houseboat because as a kid, we had a speedboat.
Go climbing or zip lining?
Zip lining. I love zip lining.
I love that. I love that question, by the way, because it's, do you want to go up or down?
Well, also, climbing, there's always a risk of, like, falling and death.
You could fall as a zip. Let's not. Yeah, no, this is
you
rapid.
Can.
This is
you
rapid.
Can.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Have a night out or an evening in?
Evening in.
Okay. Now, we're back to, I want to say general ignorance questions now, because I've got QI on the brain and I can stump you with every one of these questions, apparently. What was your favorite activity in gym class?
None of the sports.
That's fine. That's why I said activity.
I'll go with elementary school.
Okay.
And then in elementary school, there were the days when where it was not a sport and it wasn't line dancing, which I went to elementary school in. It
doesn't matter.
Kentucky,
I didn't I had to do it too.
Which makes sense because you were also kind of like in the country, but
I think everybody had to do it to an extent. But anyway.
Probably. But so there were specific days where we would do, I don't even know what you would call it, but there would be this giant.
You're talking about the parachute.
Is that what it's called?
It's called the parachute. It's the big thing that everybody gets to, like, it's a big circular piece of fabric and everybody you put balls on it sometimes and pop them around, or yeah.
Well, we didn't do that. What we did was, because there was a hole in the middle, I believe, and then you would gather around it, and then
it was a parachute.
Lift it up, or you'd lift it up real quick, and then
everybody got underneath
it, and then you'd sit down, and you'd all be like inside the thing, and then it eventually would like.
I mean, it was called the parachute. I'm sure it wasn't a parachute, but like that's
No, yeah, but I think that would be the best way to describe it, though.
Okay.
Like I distinctly remember that, and I loved that. Like, I loved any time we had those, like, activities where I guess it was like socializing and group building, group activities. I don't know what they were called, but those were always a lot of fun.
Who is your favorite Disney villain?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think, because I don't know if I should go with like older Disney, like my childhood Disney, or
Just
if I should go with modern Disney.
Favorite villain, not best villain. This isn't arguable. This is
No, I know
your favorite villain.
I think I will go with Scar, just because I can't think of any. Yeah, Scar from The Lion King, voiced by Jeremy Irons. He's just, he lorded over hyenas until he didn't.
All the Disney villains lord over something until they don't. I mean,
oh yeah, that's very, very true.
What was the first concert you ever saw?
Oh God. I think the first one I ever went to, was Green Day.
Okay.
I think it was Green Day. So I think that's.
Do you remember what tour it was?
No.
No.
I think it was American Idiot, I think, maybe.
Okay. What does your perfect day look like?
One where I'm not working and I can do whatever I want. So, sleeping in, having a nice breakfast, being able to just relax, maybe read, play some games, and not just like video games, but like just playing board games or playing Magic, doing things that help you kind of unwind and maybe even disconnect from the internet and things for a while.
Is that are you done?
I guess if I could put in like caveats, so like if it's a rainy day,
I mean, it's your perfect day. You get to determine what your perfect day looks like.
But sometimes rainy days could be perfect if all you want to do is just be inside and
you get to determine that. It's your perfect day. What does it look like? You get to determine if it's raining or not.
But I don't. A perfect day could be different depending on the mood I'm in. Like a perfect day could be a rainy day, but it could also be a sunny day where I could go for a walk. Like I don't know. There's like, it depends.
All right. What is one thing that should be taught in school that isn't already?
One thing that should be taught in school that isn't already. God, I don't know.
I'm not going to help you. You got to come up with an answer.
I mean, I guess my answer would be just a different version of stuff that's already being taught now.
Like what?
Like a different, I don't want to say like a different version of history, but like I think more robust history. So I feel like you get bits and pieces of history, and depending on where you're at in school, you only get like American history. And then if you want world history, you don't, especially in like, I think elementary and that type of school. Like if you go to university, you have more opportunity to get even broader world histories. But like in just regular like K through 12, I feel like more time spent on worldly history would benefit a lot of people, because those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Well, congratulations. We're to the last 10 questions.
Oh, good.
Marvel or DC?
DC.
Crash with friends or stay in a hotel?
Hotel.
Visit Europe or Mexico?
Europe.
Travel by plane, train, or automobile?
I'm going to go with the one that I wish I could travel on the most, because it's the least one that's available, sort of, depending on where you are. I'm going to go with train.
Produce a blockbuster movie or a hit television show?
Hit television show.
All right. Now we're on to the final 5.
Okay.
What would you do first if you were the president of your own country?
Make sure I assign smarter people to help me run the country.
Okay.
Because I feel like I should not be the president of a country. So surround myself with smart, good people that'll help me run a country.
So the first thing you're going to do is build a cabinet.
Yes.
Okay. What is your biggest success up until now?
Like in life, in work,
Life, which by the way would also incorporate work, and school and whatever. Life. What is your biggest success up until now?
Gosh.
You have had successes. What's the one you're most proud of? Not the one in the world,
I mean, probably my college degree.
Okay. That's the one you're most proud of. That's your biggest success.
I would say so, because at the time that I got my college degree, neither of my parents had a college degree. My dad later on got a college degree, but at the time I was the first one in my immediate family to have ever gotten a college degree, so I felt that was like a great level of accomplishment.
And what did you get your degree in?
It was it's an associate's in arts.
Okay. I'm going to be nice. I've started being nicer to people with arts degrees.
I mean, it wasn't only going to be an arts degree. I graduated with the associates with the plan to then transfer to a university to basically use those credits for the associates to get a jump start on a bachelor's. But
what?
that never happened.
Yeah, but what would you get a bachelor's in?
The time.
At the time, yes, at the time.
Yeah, at the time, it was going to be some type of medical prerequisite bachelor's.
All right, well then I can't make fun of you because that's practical.
Yeah, but then once I decided that I couldn't afford to go to medical school, and so it wouldn't make any sense to get a bachelor's in like any type of medical prerequisite, then I was leaning more towards some type of business degree of some sort. Fairly
practical. I can't make fun of you. Although I'm not making fun of art people anymore. So, all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how funny would you say you are?
I'm really bad at ranking myself, which is why I hate doing self-assessments at work. For like my yearly reviews. So I always tend to not like, what do you call it? Like boost yourself or whatever. So I'm going to say a 6. Why are you laughing?
Because my answer was 6 too.
See, we're perfect. We're perfect for each other.
All right, you either have an answer for this right away or it's gonna be a while.
Okay.
If you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Warning: do not deprive of sleep.
Okay.
Because if I don't get enough sleep, I'm not a happy camper. I need my like 7 hours minimum of sleep a night.
And now for the final question. What is one question you want to ask me right now?
Why did you make the first round of long form questions so hard?
I didn't. It was I'll answer. If that's the one question you have, then I would say that this was all happenstance. And how it came about was how it came about, and there was no rhyme or reason to the order of the questions other than alternating the rapid fire with the long form. And that's just the way it worked out. And by the way, they were hard for you. Having done this before in audio and text form, this is everybody has their own that stumped them.
Well, yeah.
Yours just happened to be in the first 15 or 20 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So there you have it. You have heard me talk about her on this show many times, and now you have heard her on this show. Also, I have again done the 50 questions. So I must ask you, dear listeners, is there a previous guest who you'd like to see me have on for these 50 questions? Would you like me to change them up, or should I leave them as is? Let me know. And thank you for listening. The Palmer Files releases every 2 weeks on Tuesdays. If you're still listening, I encourage you to join the discussion. You can find all related ways to contact myself and my esteemed guest and love of my life, Stefanie, in the show notes. There you can also find links to Steph's online endeavors at FromBrainToKeyboard.com. The music for this episode was provided by Henno Heitur. Email can be sent to this show at thepalmerfiles@gmail.com. And remember, your home for all things Agent Palmer is agentpalmer.com. All right, Stefanie, do you have one final question for me?
I do. So you've been, people who might listen to your show may know, or they may not know, that you've been unemployed for quite some time. What could you see yourself doing if it was a lot easier to, get hired?
What could I see myself doing?
Yeah, like what kind of, like, do you want to be in the same field? Do you want to try a different field? Like,
I mean, okay. I was in marketing, right? Which in itself is a field, but I'm not a regular marketer. So I don't see myself as I don't see marketing as being a real field. You market the field you're in. So I was in tourism marketing, right? So I was in tourism. I wasn't in marketing. But I'm adaptable. I don't, I could work for anybody, really. I like the idea of marketing. I like the idea of, this podcast there's a reason this podcast is this podcast. I like the idea of stories. I mean, this episode was unique, but not every episode is that. I mean, I also have like solo episodes and stuff. So it's not like this podcast is just about telling stories, but mainly it's about telling stories. And that's what marketing is when you boil it down. It's not about TikTok posts and Twitter tweets and Facebook posts and, catching virality. It's about telling the story. And I think that gets lost on a lot of people. So really, I just want to help people. That's it.
Okay, but what does that mean? Like, if you,
it's really hard to say because it depends. If it's in healthcare, it's probably about sharing the values of the brand and then spotlighting and highlighting the doctors and the nurses and the administrators who help that thing come about. If it's a corporate entity, it's probably a similar thing. The VP coaches his son's football team, and this other VP is a assistant basketball coach, and this other one volunteers at Habitat for Humanity, and sharing those stories are important, and I don't think enough brands do that. And you need to share those stories depending on how big it is. If it's a corporation of 20, then you need to share that story with the world. If it's a corporation of 1,000 or more, you need to share that story with the people internally and externally.
But let's say it's not marketing. What else would you want to do besides marketing?
Not marketing. And this is something I want to do, not just, you need money.
Yeah. Like just not like you need to go out tomorrow and like find a job. No, if you wanted to do
Does it
something
count?
that's not marketing.
And how does content creation factor into it?
I mean that's up to you. Like this is a thing that you would want to do.
I'm trying to answer your question. Because I have no problem saying like I'm just gonna keep recording and writing.
Yeah. So like, is that what you would want to do?
I mean, I'm not going to stop it when I get a job. So yeah it's what I want to do.
That's the thing is like, if you could get a job that would still allow you to do the blog and the podcast.
Look, there's not going to be a job that doesn't. I started the podcast while I had a job. I started the blog while I had a job. I continued the blog and the podcast while I had a job. So getting a job doesn't hinder me those things. It would be nice if it was my job, but I don't. I'm going to go with creation, because okay. I'm not averse to producing movies and editing books for other people as well. It doesn't have to be I like having my own venue, but I can do whatever, I think.
All right. So basically being involved in creation, either creating your own things or helping other people create things.
Yeah, which, by the way, is not that dissimilar from my marketing philosophy. So.
Yeah. Which you're already kind of doing now.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.